George went to see Big Hero 6 movie just came out. He's written a small review about it. Share us your thoughts, and then Sylvia, you can do the same.
Okay, for those of you who are unaware of this, Big Hero 6 is the newest addition to the Disney library, Disney Animation Studios library. The directors are Don Hall, and Chris Williams, who one of them, I can't remember which, beforehand directed Winnie the Pooh, the 2011 Winnie the Pooh. Let me look it up. And also Chris Williams actually helped write and direct Bolt, which was another addition to Disney Animation. The story is basically, there's this hero, I forget his last name, but he's basically this... Hiro Hamada is I'm sorry. Hiro Hamada has his brother, is basically an inventor. He's this genius kid who invents these things called nanobots. And then after an incident involving, I'm not going to spoil it, accidentally killing his brother. It's in the market. It's in the fucking marketing. You can just tell from looking at the fucking thing. Anyway,
butter? Fucking butter?
No,
I'm sorry. I just find that so funny.
Sorry, I meant brother. It's in the fucking marketing. You can tell just from watching one of the trailers that that's a big conflict. And basically, his brother invented this thing called Baymax, which is an inflatable robotic nurse. And after that, he thinks his nanobots are destroyed, but then he suddenly finds out that someone has been manufacturing more of them, and the person behind it is wearing this guy in this massive dark cloak, wearing this massive dark coat and a kabuki mask, who is basically Doc Ock from hell.
Yeah.
And then he assembles his science fair buddy friends to come together and become Big Hero 6. The cast includes from the characters and their voice actors, Honey Lemon, Go-Go, Wasabi, and Fred.
Mago, Wasabi No Ginger, Fredzilla. And don't forget that Big Hero 6 is loosely based on the Marvel comics of the same name created by Man of Action, which is the spin-off of the Alpha Flight comic book series, which is the spin-off of the X-Men comic book series.
And it's also the only good thing Man of Action has ever done. And if you don't know who Man of Action is, he's the guy who created the worst cartoon I have ever seen in my life, Ultimate Spider-Man.
And don't forget Ben 10. And
wait, who created Ben 10?
Yeah, Man of Action, yeah. And Generator Rex.
Okay, one of the few things he's done right. Anyway, the cast includes Scott Addish from 30 Rock, Ryan Potter, who's a newcomer, T.J. Miller, Jamie Chung, Damon Wayans Jr., Genesis Rodriguez, James Cromwell, and Alan Tuddyk. Who has been in a lot of Disney CGI works, such as Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen, and also Maya Rudolph, Smalley. All right, my thoughts. For those of you who haven't read my review on Master Toons Assembled, Jack or Carson, you could link that into the description if you want to.
Okay.
Jack?
Yeah?
Okay. My thoughts on it are fucking fantastic. I really mean it. I will background. I saw this with my brother and one of his friends and their mom, and we saw it on opening day, and we all loved it. Like me and his mom, my friend's mom. Ironically, me and her liked it more than the kids did. The best way I can describe it: imagine The Incredibles had sex with the Iron Giant, and for some reason, Rise of the Guardians came in, and then you have Big Hero 6. From The Incredibles, it takes the beautiful animation, very creative, very cool, and very swift character designs, which I'm going to get into as well in a few seconds. From The Iron Giant, it takes the emotional heart and robot connection aspect of the story. And from Rise of the Guardians, it takes the beautiful music and excellent direction.
Okay, what would you recommend everyone seeing it then?
Oh yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Especially if you had kids. I saw this in I think there was like a ton of. I think there was like a few families in the theater. I think they liked it as well. I think, unlike something like the Box Trolls, which I felt like could be scary for like really little kids, I feel like there's only like a couple of moments here. Like I think kids might be scared of the villain maybe because like. And basically, the villain has like this massive nanobots, and it looks like a wave of like arms and stuff. Like I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. It's like I said, imagine Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2. You know how his tentacles moved around and stuff like that. Imagine that like amplified to like 1,000,000.
Okay, I think kids can handle that though.
Okay. And I'm not so forgiving.
All right, Sylvia. So, what's your thoughts on it?
All right. So I'm not gonna repeat what the story is since he already said it. But
just say where you disagreed.
I disagreed on how it was played out. I think it was just done a little too fast. It wasn't long enough for me to take it all in. The characters were very lovable. I can't deny that, but it's just the conflict. Although it was epic, it felt like it was out there, and then it just fell when it ended. I didn't. I mean, it was a good movie, but I can't even explain it. I found the plot a little bit rushed after the movie started getting going.
Well, I've also
in.
heard it's cliched.
Yeah.
That I would have to agree with Sylvia. I did also watch it last night. I mean, the first 15 minutes of the film, which tries to establish Hero's origin story, it's a bit cliched and somewhat out of sync in both pacing and placement, as if they're trying to establish much more quickly Hero's story, and then try to get to the plot where he tries to discover the supervillain that's attacking San Francisco. Besides, another thing that I didn't like is that when I first saw the trailer and the promotional art, I actually fell in love with the designs. In particular, I do like Baymax's design, but I also love the design for Aunt Cass and Gogo Tamago. But when I finally saw the final product, I noticed that the final designs were different from the promotional art, and it was somewhat of a letdown to me. The third complaint that I would have is that although the title is Big Hero 6, the movie specifically focuses on Hero and Baymax as the main characters, while the other members of Big Hero 6 play as side characters.
Yeah.
That said, I do enjoy the humor in here. It's not laugh out loud funny, but it made me chuckle throughout the entire film. Secondly, when it went down to the action in the final battle, it is your standard Marvel superhero action, which I did enjoy. And third, considering full disclosure that I am a big fan of giant robot anime, the movie does have a lot of references to those said genres from the 70s to today, and I was able to pinpoint all of them. And lastly, the show did provide a cameo appearance of a specific character that I wasn't expecting for him to come, because this is marketed as a Disney film and not a Marvel film.
Yeah.
But that character is there anyway and plays a major part at the post-end credit scene. This made me wish that Disney would somehow, some way, would introduce the anime series Hero Man to the Big Hero 6 universe, because Hero Man's story would mix so well with Big Hero 6. If you don't know Big Hero Man, I don't want to spoil you what it is, but I do but it is out in English, and I do recommend you check it out. And if you're able to find the tidbits about it, you'll realize who I'm referring to.
Well, I mean the Muppets. The second movie, they foreshadowed Toy Story 4 for some strange reason. So I guess this could be also a foreshadowing.
I would respectfully disagree, because one of the reasons why I brought up Rise of the Guardians as well, and one of the big aspects that it reminded you of, if you haven't seen Rise of the Guardians, which I highly recommend, one of the most underrated movies ever in my opinion, it was very character focused on specifically on Jack Frost. But even though it was character focused on mostly him, the rest of the characters did get some really good development, and it didn't feel tacked on because as I said in my review, let's face it, Big Hero 2 and some giant balloon nurse and Iron Man outfit and rejected Iron Man outfit with some smart kid isn't really that good of a title.
You do know that in Japan they actually called it Baymax, right?
The
They
movie.
call it Big Hero 6. They just say that Baymax is the main character. Anyway, let's move on.
All right.
Well, I was gonna just bring up a little bit more of it real quick.
Well, if you could just finish it quickly, because we've still got some other stuff to talk about. We're about 45 minutes in.
Oh yeah. One last. I really wanted to bring up a prospect idea. The movie. It's not really. This is kind of a spoiler, so I think you, Proto, and you. It's not really that big of a spoiler, but it's partly one. One of the bigger conflicts of the movie involves the idea of teleportation. I'm not going to give it exactly what it is, but I do think since this is a Marvel property, I don't know if it would be possible. I think it would maybe open up some possible ideas for an alternate realities and stuff like that with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, seeing how this is a Marvel movie. But
That's not going to happen, sadly.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, I'm saying is that possibility. That would be kind of cool if they would do that.
In part because I guess you are familiar with the licensing issues that Marvel has with Fox over X-Men. So in this case, they want to make this as entirely Disney property and not a Marvel property. For that,
that would make
very
sense.
reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. As for my final thoughts, I would say definitely check it out. I'm gonna have to think a while about it, but it's probably, as I said in my review, it's probably my new favorite Disney movie. I came out of it really freaking enjoying it more than anything, and it's one of my free contenders for best movie of 2014.
I would agree. It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Worth the watch, but
Also, thing, I hate to do this again, and I'm sorry for doing this so much. This is what How to Train Your Dragon 2 should have been. Suck it, you piece of shit!
I kind of disagree with that.
Okay.
I find How to Train Your Dragon 2 actually is a very good movie and would mark it along the same line with Big Hero 6.